it's a great storyline. I mean, the fans are booing him out of the building. The difference is when I turned into a bad guy, the fans were cheering more than ever. So it was a little crazy.
Coming up on Going Ringside, we discuss the legacy of one of the most iconic professional wrestlers of all time, Hulk Hogan. We take a look at one of the last interviews with the late wrestler. Plus, we sit down with one of NXT's rising stars, Lola Vice, what she has to say just days before she faces off for the NXT Women's Championship. That and more on the premiere episode of Going Ringside.
Influencing pop culture, politics, and everything in between, taking you ringside as we discuss the crazy world that is professional wrestling. This is Going Ringside.
Hello there and welcome to Going Ringside, our debut first episode here on CW. And you might be wondering, isn't that the bald guy who does the news on the other channel? Yeah, that's me. But we also do this, a show that's going to bring you the biggest wrestling stars in history every week at 7:30 on Tuesday nights. And I want to start it with arguably the greatest and most famous to ever live. Talking about Hulk Hogan. I was blessed in St. Johns County to be one of his final interviewers right before his death in July. I talked to the Hulkster. We talked about a lot of things, from his venture into politics to John Cena to The Rock and so much more. So I wanted to kick off our brand new show here for you on CW 17 by maybe the most famous interview we'll ever have here. Here is the late Hulk Hogan. Hulk, how did you get into this world? You've been doing so much. In the last year, you've been at the RNC, you're on Fox, you're doing this Great American Beer Tour.
Well, you know, I'm always looking for an opportunity, you know, now that I don't wrestle anymore because I'm too old to wrestle.
Sure.
And the thing came up where I saw an open lane for a beer, you know, light beer that America needs, a beer that was made, you know, for Americans, made in America. And the owners live here. We're the only beer company that actually lives here. And there was an open lane that somebody dropped the ball on marketing-wise. I'm not going to name any names. And so we just started, and we came up with the name, the Real American Beer, way before we got our nation back. So the timing was perfect. It's kind of like we jumped on another lightning bolt, and we're running.
I got to ask you, in the last week, a guy that ran against Tim Walz said he could beat any mega guy in a WWE fight. Have you heard about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I heard Tim Walz popping off. I used to live in Minnesota. There's a lot of nice people up there, you know. I lived there for 4 years, by the way. But the guy that challenged him, I wouldn't want anything to do with him. It's Kane, the Undertaker's brother.
Okay, yeah.
And believe me, I don't want no part of that. You know, he's way too big and too strong.
John Cena's become a bad guy in the last few weeks. Some say bigger than when you did it. Do you agree with that?
I'll agree with whatever you say. I'm not here to argue, man. I'm way past arguing with people, but John Cena is a great wrestler. He's my favorite wrestler without a doubt, and I was shocked.
You were shocked?
I was shocked. I never thought John would, you know, turn into a bad guy, but, you know, it's a great storyline. I mean, the fans are booing him out of the building. The difference is when I turned into a bad guy, the fans were cheering me more than ever. So it was a little crazy. So I like to, you know, see where this goes and how long he's going to run with it.
Final question, should Dwayne Johnson run for president someday?
He'd probably win.
You think he'd win?
Yeah, he'd probably win. He's got a great following. He's got a built-in audience that's been with him for over 20 years. You know, I kind of like cracked the door open in Hollywood, and he kicked it off its hinges. So, you know, if he ran, I don't think he's interested right now, but down the road, he'd make a great president.
Hulk Hogan, thank you for your time, sir. Good luck. I was absolutely shocked after talking to Hulk only weeks before his death. I was just sitting there one day. I get the alert, Hulk Hogan has passed away. Like the rest of the world, I was in shock to learn of this. I want to put a website up. It's on your screen right now. If you click that, it'll take you to youtube.com/@goingringside. Go there, click subscribe. We put a ton of interviews on there with friends of Hulk Hogan, people who knew Hulk Hogan, the president talking about Hulk Hogan. There's a lot of our coverage of Hulk Hogan's death there. And coming up after the break, we continue looking back at the legacy of Hulk Hogan. And you had to deal with something you hadn't seen since NWO days. You had to deal with booing. What was that like when you walked out?
Red state, blue state.
What one of his best friends, Mouth of the South, had to say about the late wrestling icon next on Going Ringside. Welcome back, and I do not want to overlook the massive national discussion following Hogan's death, both among wrestling fans and society in general. Hogan's death was different than most celebrity deaths because it touched on everything from U.S. politics to a police investigation and years of online debate. Tragic, shocking news. Hulk Hogan has died at age 71. When I, along with journalists around the country, shocked the nation with news of Hulk Hogan's passing, it set off a weeks-long series of news stories. But to explain that, we need to back up to the debate that raged over Hulk Hogan near the end of his life. And let's start in Milwaukee during the summer of 2024.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Hogan became a national lightning rod once again at the Republican National Convention, famously endorsing President Trump. That immediately sent Hogan for the first time into the political world, where he became a regular on Fox News. But politics weren't the only debate over the Hulkster. For years, some wrestling fans raged online almost daily over some of Hogan's history, including not putting wrestlers over and the infamous recording that surfaced in 2015 where he was heard on a recording using racial slurs. Hogan eventually apologized, but for many, the apologies were never accepted. Like from Shelton Benjamin, who posted after Hogan said he was a fan of Benjamin's work. So rather than screw up my name and pretend we ever had any sort of camaraderie, which we never had, please do me a favor. It was followed by a Will Smith meme that reads, "Keep my name out of your expletive mouth." Both dynamics were on display on Monday Night Raw in January, when Hogan was famously booed for promoting his Real American beer. The man who was with him at that moment, his decades-long running buddy, Jimmy Hart, who I asked about that moment. I got to ask, you guys went on to Raw and you had to deal with something you hadn't seen since NWO days. You had to deal with booing. What was that like when you walked out?
Red state, blue state.
You think that's what it was about?
Of course it was. Are you kidding me? Because the next day we're in Texas and standing ovation everywhere. But that's all
Really?
it was. Oh, please, come on. You know that. What do you think it was?
Well, that's what a lot of people were saying, that it was Southern California.
You know it is, baby, but that's okay. You know, everything's beautiful. We love everybody still.
With all that prologue, there was a lot of nasty things said about Hogan following his death. However, you noticed a shift, particularly in the wrestling world, as a massive amount of wrestlers called for more posthumous respect. Bully Ray posted, "As an old pro, I will never forget how much you meant to my career. I appreciate everything you did for me, and was happy to call you a friend and brother." Hurricane Helms posted, "I can't ignore the way Hulk made some of my friends feel. I also can't ignore the fact that he was incredibly good to me and was a part of the puzzle that is my life. The only thing I'm sure of is that hate is only defeated by love, not more hate." Then there was the political part of this story. Look what President Trump had to say.
He was the real deal. He was MAGA all the way. He said, "I wish I got this." He said, "I've always loved you. You know, we've always been friends." But he wasn't a political guy. And in the last 3 years, I'd say, he became really political. And he said, "I'm so angry at myself for not doing it earlier." He was happy. But, you know, he took a beating. When you look at the life that they lived, he would wrestle sometimes 200 times a year. Think of that. I say, "What, do you wrestle every weekend?" No, he says, "Sometimes we wrestle every night." And it's hard to believe. But being a friend, I got to see his life a little bit, and his knees were in trouble, his back was in trouble. He was in such trouble, but he was great.
And that wasn't all. Knowing that Hogan was a massively influential Floridian, Governor Ron DeSantis even declared August 1st Hulk Hogan Day in the state.
And we were with him just a couple of months ago. My kids got to meet him and everything, so I was really sad to see that, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
Beyond the societal discussion, there was also the investigation into his death. One of the primary media outlets getting details on his death has been TMZ. I sat down with Branson Quirk of TMZ's new Inside the Ring podcast, which focuses on wrestling. I was shocked when your guys' headline came out that he had passed away.
Yeah, Sky Daily. I just did a live shot about this a week ago. Sky Daily, if anybody doesn't know, Sky Daily is setting up a malpractice lawsuit against one of the doctors that worked on Hulk Hogan during his neck surgery back in May of this year, because she believes that it was the phrenic nerve that is what caused him to not be able to breathe in that moment on the day of his death, which eventually led to him passing away. So it's interesting because you have Brooke Hogan saying one thing and you have Sky Daily saying another. Brooke Hogan herself, we talked to her several times here at TMZ with Harvey, and Brooke believed that Hulk Hogan, possibly there was some foul play involved, maybe some medical malpractice, but then just before Sky talked about filing this lawsuit, she said herself, Brooke Hogan said that she doesn't believe that there was any foul play whatsoever.
I want to close showing you one dynamic. Let's put it on the screen. Many people may not know about the difference between online wrestling fans and the real world. So I took these pictures when I was covering the Republican National Convention as a journalist in Milwaukee when Hogan spoke. I was outside of the arena at the time when he took to the podium. I snapped these photos of pretty much every police officer, and there were a lot of them rushing to monitors to watch Hogan speak. They were entertained and not thinking about any of the online criticism wrestling fans tend to put on social media. They just knew the Hulkster was an attraction like no other. And shifting gears, coming up, we speak with one of the top wrestlers in the NXT Women's Division. The reason Lola Vice believes she could become the next NXT Women's Champion. That and more next on Going Ringside. Welcome back. Now we're shifting gears because maybe the top woman on all of NXT, Lola Vice, is here. She's about to face off for the title this coming Saturday, the 27th. Let's put it on the screen. NXT is hosting No Mercy in Fort Lauderdale. I just sat down with Lola, who may very well win her first title where she grew up. She could not be more excited. She is one of the ascending stars in the world, and we were so excited to have her here on her debut. So let's get to it. Here is NXT superstar, maybe their next champion, Lola Vice. Well, we're excited to be joined by one of the stars of NXT who's going to be in the main event here in just days, Lola Vice. Lola, thanks again for joining us on the show.
Hola, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, Saturday, the 27th in Fort Lauderdale, kind of home turf for you. You are in the main event. Let's talk about it. This is a big match for you.
Yep, it's a big deal, and it's close to where I grew up in Vice City, so hopefully I bring that title home.
So talk to me about this match. JC Jane and emphasis on the and, Fatal Influence. You have to deal with a lot in this match. Do you think you have a shot here? Can you win?
Yeah, this is my third opportunity challenging for the title, and I believe now more than ever I'm ready. JC is a very tough champion. She took the title off of Stephanie, but she has Fallon and JC, Fallon and Jasmine, even though I've knocked them both out already. I think I have my hands full next Saturday, but I know and I could believe that I could do it.
So talk to me about this journey for you. We talked to you, I think, for the first time about a year ago, and you said your goal at the time, I don't know if you remember, main event WrestleMania, possibly in Miami like The Rock did.
Yeah.
Are you still on that journey, do you think?
Yes, but I think right now, next Saturday is my WrestleMania in Miami. Like, this is my moment, and this is my opportunity to bring that title home.
Are you excited that this will be essentially kind of almost hometown? Do you feel like you have a bit of an advantage here?
Yeah, it just feels full circle, and like my whole family's gonna be there, and a lot of people that support me are gonna be there. So it just really feels like the stars are aligning, and this is my moment.
So I got to ask you about a few things that are happening, and one that's just a headline that happened, a possible shakeup at the top at NXT. We will see what happens. Triple H shows up with Shawn Michaels. I mean, you're one of the stars, possibly a future champion here. What are your thoughts on that? Was that a bit unnerving?
No, it was just so exciting and honestly such an honor to be on that show and to have Hunter there and Shawn Michaels. But I'm like even happy that they give us in NXT this opportunity to develop into the characters that we are. And I'm just so grateful to be part of the Performance Center because the system works. And I'm one of those that was I was shown how to wrestle at the PC. I started there, had no wrestling experience, and it's just proof that it works. Like Tiffany Stratton.
So our show now airs right before NXT.
Hmm.
What do fans get when they tune in? I mean, this is as high flying as anything on Raw or SmackDown. It's
Yeah,
just as good, in my opinion.
NXT is just so fast paced. It's so exciting. But even more than that, I really believe we have the best women's division in the world. And we're all so diverse. We all look different. Any little girl that's watching from home could look at one of us and relate to something from us. So it's just exciting to be part of this time and this generation of NXT because we're killing it.
So if you win, I mean, do you have butterflies? Do you have nerves? I mean, once you're a
Yeah.
champion, kind of things change for you.
Yeah. So I'm trying just to take it one day at a time because my goal is to win that title. So I don't want to get too emotional about it yet because like I need to win that fight. But if I'm able to pull through and overcome fatal influence, this will be one of the greatest accomplishments of my career, MMA combined.
Yeah, and you have that back, which we've talked about before. You have
Mhm.
that MMA background.
Yeah.
Has learning wrestling been a smooth transition because you knew how to fight coming in? A lot
Yeah.
of women, kind of learn on the job.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started at WWE, I didn't know if I would pick it up as quickly as I did MMA. I didn't know if it was for me. And I struggled a little bit, but I used that same passion and work ethic I had for MMA and martial arts my whole life, and I applied it to this, and I'm just grateful it's paying off for me. And I feel like next Saturday is gonna show the world that I was born to be a WWE superstar.
So I do want to talk about WWE. This is the big. I mean, if you win here, I mean, it's already started, but this is the beginning of your shot, your continued ascent into stardom. Any dream matches you have?
Oof. Yes. Dream match, Rhea Ripley, of course. One day against my amiga, Stephanie Baker.
I want
Um,
to interrupt there on Rhea Ripley. You're
mhm.
not the biggest woman in the ring. You're definitely a good fighter. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and I believe Rhea's bigger than you. How do you
Yes.
deal with competitors like that where there would be a size mismatch?
Yeah, so with bigger competitors or women that are stronger and bigger than me, I use more of my submissions and my takedown offense because it's easier to get them down and bring them to my world rather than trying to fight in their world. So I use my submission background more against women who are bigger than me.
So you mentioned Rhea. Any other dream fights?
So my amiga Stephanie for sure, because
Sure, Stephanie. Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, I feel like that would be such a great match one day. Charlotte, because she's a legend. Um,
Would
oh,
you
Nikki
deal with being
Bella.
starstruck if you had to go against someone like Charlotte Flair? Because she's probably someone you watched growing up. Would there be
Yeah,
difficulties there?
I mean, I admire her so much and I look up to her, but I feel like it would more so be a challenge for me to show my background compared to hers.
Well, Lola Vice, No Mercy, main event. We wish you luck. This is an exciting thing for you, possibly bringing home that first title. We definitely wish you luck in this.
Gracias. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thanks for joining us on the show, Lola.
Bye.
Bye. I've interviewed Lola a few times, and she's always so great. And by the way, I think, just a hunch, she's probably going to be the next champ on NXT, which is coming up next if you're watching us on Tuesday night. So love to sit down with Lola, but we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. And before we go, I just want to address, you might be watching, what is this brand new show on my TV right now, CW? I thank Lola for joining us and, of course, was honored to talk to the Hulkster before he passing. We are going to bring you the biggest stars that have ever lived on the planet Earth from our show here in our Jacksonville studios every single week. Tuesday nights at 7:30 right before NXT, and then Saturday nights before Women of Wrestling, too, we'll also have it. You don't want to miss it. We're going to develop a lot of headlines on this show and bring you the biggest stars who have ever lived. We got Goldberg coming on in a couple of weeks, Shawn Michaels, Bianca Belair. We are going to have a stacked lineup in the weeks to come, and we're so happy you could be here and join us every single week, Tuesday nights at 7:30 once again. But before we go, put it on the screen, youtube.com/@GoingRingside. We want you to go find our channel, subscribe, our biggest interviews that we've ever done, plus some daily updates. Click that subscribe button. That's where you can find all our shows. If you miss a show, if you want to share it with a friend or put it in wrestling groups, go to our YouTube channel and click that subscribe button. Thanks for joining us on this debut episode. We'll see you back here next time.